tell people I was going through some tremendous hard times with my health. Um, Started when I was a cheerleader, being dropped. I had a lot of injuries. Then going on to become a choreographer and doing things that, to raise the bar and do dance moves that, the body isn't, when you're injured, you're not supposed to do. And mixed with a few car accidents where I was hit really hard, I started developing spinal cord problems. And while I was on tour, I was in a 7-seater jet, and I faced a crash landing. Plane was in flames. An engine blew up when I was performing in St. Louis, and I was on my way to Denver. I had just finished on stage, and one of the engines blew up, and we plummeted, and the right wing caught on fire, and I broke through my seatbelt, and I ended up hitting my head on top of the plane, and I was knocked out. And when I came to, the whole plane was in flames, and the pilot was knocked out, and the co-pilot was able to crash land us in a cornfield. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember that people were bloodied up. I had my manager and tour manager and tour accountant. I had my hair and makeup artist on the plane. And it was one of those things that I was so afraid to let anybody know I hurt myself. And I'm so strong that way, that I'm stubborn, that I can get over it because I have a high tolerance for pain. But the truth of the matter is I worked so hard by myself to get my career where it was. And I was too afraid to let people know that I was hurting. And I thought if I will the pain will go away, and I don't want anyone to count me out. And what ended up happening was the worst fears happened. I started getting paralysis on my right side, and I was sidelined. I ended up leaving my career, and I left for 6.5 years and went through cervical spinal surgery after another. I had 15 cervical spinal surgeries, all cut from the front, anterior, and I have plates in my neck from C23 all the way down to C7T1, and none of them were successful until the last one that was successful was almost 4 years ago. And what happened during that time was a real difficult. It was very difficult because it was complicated pain. I would have surgery after surgery, and no neurosurgeon, no doctor could explain to me why I'm not feeling better. And so medication that they give you, it works for structural damage, muscular pain and inflammation. But I had severe nerve damage, and no medication would work for the nerve damage. So I lived in excruciating pain that was so complicated because no one could explain it to me. And I thought that, I just got a job on a brand new TV show that's live television, and it's something that fits right into my wheelhouse, that expresses my heart and how I started my career, which is mentoring talent. And it was American Idol. And I knew that I was so lucky to get this job because no one knows that I'm going through this, and it's the one area that I could divert the pain and the energy that goes into trying to fight pain, and I could place it in another area that I have love for, and I could at least get through that because I'm strong that way. But I didn't tell people, and I developed a very really just a debilitating pain disease called RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, and it changes your life. And I thought I would be really brave. I didn't want to lose my TV job because it was the only thing I could count on, that I knew I could at least put my energy there, and it saved me. But by me thinking I'm being brave and that I could mask the pain, it proved to be a real just a disaster in my face because I isolated myself. It was daunting. I'm in an industry where you can't show your pain, and you're not supposed to show what's called humanity. I mean, pain is pain, but it's hard for people to understand pain if you don't know what it is. And now I was on a show where I'm surrounded by guys who are British and snarky and bullying and mean, but awesome too. But it wasn't a place that you could ever talk about it. I went through 4 of my surgeries without anyone knowing, but what ended up happening is with RSD, when it flares up, it's a kind of pain that if you have a pinched nerve and you have what's called sciatica, or you just have achy joints, imagine it if everything flares up at once and you don't ever get relief, to the point where your body can't take it and it explodes into lesions on the referral pain, and it just was so bad. And I never could get sleep because my only sweet spot was, no pun intended, but straight up. I couldn't find a bed that was comfortable or a pillow or anything. So on top of battling and fighting the pain, I was becoming really, really sleep deprived. And I thought that I could just be light and funny. And trust me, I saw the same footage that you saw that's been airing for the past 6 years of Paula looking ridiculous and loopy and out of control. And I'm a girl that has never used drugs. I've never been addicted. I've never even been drunk in my life. I've been working professionally since I was 17 and working alongside geniuses and loving everything I do. Now I was on live television where cameras follow you and they see you in very compromising situations. And the biggest regret I had was not letting people know what I was going through. And I guess I didn't let them know because I didn't quite know what I was going through. So how can I explain something that I don't understand? And it made things worse. And that's what happened. And, you know, through all the cutting through front, my vocal cords have taken a lot of wear and tear. But I still have the unbelievable love to perform. And, you know, I worked back a voice that was injured by one of my surgeries, and I didn't have a speaking voice, and I spent 2 years struggling with very bad, unstable vocal cords, and worked with a speech pathologist and worked with a vocal coach 6 days a week. And I came back recording a song with Randy Jackson, had a #1 record in 2008 with Dance Like There's No Tomorrow. And I performed live on stage on Idol. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what you go through, it's how you come out. You know, for me, you can take me out of the fight, of course, but you can't have, you know, ups and downs. And I really had a kind of, how's the quality of my life? Can I perform one? It was uber important, and getting through this complicated pain was the most important. So I had to take measures and take steps into doing that first.
What an inspirational story.
Thank you. Thank you.